Hope you're having a good one. Got some great Karen stories for you today. How would you handle this? It's called I Sold This House to You and I Want to Buy It Back for Less Than Half the Price, posted by My Kinetic. First, let me describe the kind of aunt that we have. This aunt, or entitled aunt I should say, of ours has been the source of headache for us as a family, emotionally and monetarily. She would always ask my mom and dad for a loan that would take years for her to pay. Where those loans go is one of the biggest questions to date. And whenever my mom or my eldest sister would ask her for the payment, she would just always play the I'm family card and be all emotional and crap to play on my mom's emotions. My mom has a soft spot with her family, and she would most likely, just let it slide. But not my eldest sister. She would constantly remind and warn my Aunt Karen to pay her debts or she'll do something about it. My aunt would then turn to my mom asking for protection from my sister, to which my mom would talk to my sister about it. My sister, though, is not having it and is just relentless on her pursuit of making my aunt pay her debts. This got to a point where my aunt warned to sue my sister if she doesn't stop, to which my sister openly invited. My sister works on a law firm, so she knows the law and that our Aunt Karen has no case at all. Ultimately, our aunt paid, but not without any parting words of how our family are a bunch of rude people and that she would never talk to us again and such. But after a month or so, she made up with my mom and everything was well. Except for my eldest sister. So for some context with the title, my aunt put her house up for sale due to her children moving out. She had 2 daughters who are all married now. Initially, she said that the house was getting too big for me to keep and maintain, and that she'd plan on buying a nice condominium near the downtown area. Her house is like a 30 to 45 minute drive from downtown. My uncle didn't want her to sell to someone that they don't know, or at least they don't have an affinity to, so she suggested just to sell the house to a relative or to a super close friend. My aunt then talked to my youngest sister, and I have 3 sisters and I'm the only guy, and they pitched her the idea of buying the house from her. At first, my sister didn't really want to entertain the idea of buying a house at this point in time, as they have 2 kids that they are sending to a not-so-cheap school. But my aunt then pulled the sentimental value card and that it would be a shame if the house was sold to someone else. Admittedly though, the house did have sentimental value for us siblings and cousins. We used to spend our summers over there as it's in a pretty nice neighborhood and we have friends there as well. A basketball court is fronting the house, which is a win-win situation since they both have boys and her husband is a good basketball player. My aunt saw this as an opportunity for the boys and her husband to train or whatever. To my aunt's credit, she did have a nice pitch to my sister, so I gotta give her that. My sister and her husband discussed this in length. It took a month before they had their decision. My sister and her husband, they decided to buy the house as they have long planned to have a house of their own. But her husband's grandmother begged them to stay at the current house they're living in until his grandmother can return back, as she was sorting something out from a different city. So they decided to have at least until they are ready to move. My eldest sister, who by the way was against all of this, helped with all the contract and the legal stuff so that they can cover their bases. The details of the sale, they aren't really familiar to me, but if my memory serves me right, the house and the lot was sold for more or less 1 million pesos. My sister gave my aunt a more than generous amount of time to move out, which was 6 months. When the time came that everything was moved out, my sister and her husband decided to pay a visit to their recently bought house and see to what extent the renovation would be. And to their surprise, the condition of the house was a literal crap hole. The walls and the ceiling were falling apart. The tiles on the floor were chipped or starting to get chipped. The main bedroom was a mess, and the kitchen smelled like someone died in there for weeks. Although my aunt did disclose that some renovation work would be needed, but she never disclosed that the house was that screwed up. But whatever, they decided to have the house renovated, and it cost them another $300,000. Once the renovation was done, the difference, it was night and day. As they were not moving into the new house yet, they listed the house for lease on some places, and it garnered a lot of interest. The house was then leased to a foreign couple. The transaction went smoothly with the help of my eldest sister once again, and the couple even paid full price for the whole duration of the lease. Everything was smooth as butter until yesterday. My sister got a call from the couple who leased the house early in the morning when she was dropping off the kids to school. This was on a Monday, and my sister is usually super busy on these days. And this was one of those days. She answered the call, and the following ensued. Now, side note, this is all based from my sister's retelling of the events and conversations. It might not be 100% accurate, but I'll try to be as close to it as possible. So we have my sister, the nice husband, the nice wife, and the entitled Aunt Karen. Sister says, "Hello, nice husband. Haven't heard from you for a long time. May I know why you called?" "Hey, there's someone at the gate claiming that this is her house." Sister's confused and she says, "Huh? She just might be a crazy person roaming around the area." "Well, no, she showed me pictures of the house and her in it." At this point, my sister kinda knew what was happening, so she hurriedly drove there. She was coming from a different side of town, so it took her about an hour to get there. When she got there, she saw entitled Aunt Karen outside screaming to let her in. The neighbors were already out and witnessing the commotion. Karen sees my sister and hurriedly goes to her. "Hey sister, they won't let me in," and she points toward the nice couple. "Karen, what are you doing here?" "Well, this was once my house. Am I not allowed to enter?" "What do you mean?" "I sold you this house, remember? And now I see that someone else is living here." "Well, they are leasing the house." "What? Why would you lease the house to someone that I don't know?" Sister's getting angry at this point. She says, "Because this is my house. I can lease it to whoever I want to." At this point, my sister couldn't believe the stupidity of this situation and was kind of getting embarrassed with the neighbors looking on, so she told Karen to go inside so they can discuss it. Once they were in the house, my sister introduced Karen to the couple who leased the property, and the following ensued. "How much did you lease this house for?" Karen asked the couple. Excuse me?" "I said, how much did you pay for the lease?" The wife chimes in, "Hey, I'm sorry, but we don't see the need of discussing that to you." "Why not?" Turns to my sister and asks, "How much are they paying for this lease?" It's none of your business, Aunt Karen, okay? This is my property and I'm already generous enough to have you let in." Whoa, I sold you this beautiful house and you treat me this way?" She looks at the couple again. "Was the house sold to you too? Tell me." The husband laughs. "Look, lady, even if we did buy it, we don't need to tell you the specifics since we're not dealing with you. And no, we didn't buy this house." "You're a liar," faces my sister and says, "I'll take the house back now." Excuse me, are you out of your mind?" "No, I am not, and it's clear to me that you are an irresponsible homeowner." She takes something from her bag and says, "Here, take this 300,000 pesos and give me back my house." 300,000 pesos? Seriously? She slams the money to the Karen's chest. My sister's fuming at this point. "You need to leave my property right now. I won't allow you to disrespect me in front of these nice people. 300,000 when we bought this house for you for 1 million? You can't kick me out of here. This is my house." Sister grabs her phone. "I'm calling the cops now." Karen then bolts out of there, and on her way out, she screamed, "I'll come back and take the house. This is not the end of this." After Karen was nowhere to be seen, my sister broke down in front of the nice couple. The couple asked her a few details about Karen, and they were super understanding. My sister offered to return about a quarter of the total money that they paid for the lease, but the couple said that it's not necessary. Her husband knew what happened, and he was furious to a point that he almost went to the condominium where Karen was living in, but my sister was able to calm her down before anything bad had happened. As for now, my sister and her husband are seeking legal advice from my eldest sister and her firm. Do you agree with this comment? The aunt has absolutely no legal standing in this situation to do a dang thing. The house is your sister's, free and clear. She can do what she wants with it, and I'm sure that your other sister will tell her the same. I would suggest telling your sister and the couple leaving the house to get a stay-away order against the aunt so she just can't barge in without consequences. You think a restraining order would work? Let me know. Entitled Mother and Daughter Karens try to scam the hotel restaurant, posted by High Phoenix with an update. Buckle in, guys, it's a long one. I'm the food and beverage manager at a hotel that's right next to one of the most beautiful mountains in my country. That said, the hotel is literally in the middle of nowhere, a 20-kilometer drive to the nearest main road in town. When it comes to bookings for the restaurant, the bookings are made at reception and the information goes in our booking file, which I check every day. I only get hands-on involved when the booking consists of 20 or more people. Any less than that are left to the restaurant supervisors, as I've started giving them more responsibilities. Now, on to the main story. Our reservations manager called me one day asking me to come take a look at an event that was just booked at our hotel. 25 guests. A woman, our entitled daughter, wants to have a birthday celebration for her mother's 52nd birthday. I think, easy peasy. I get in touch with her, I send her my wine and drinks list, and she chooses what she wants and prepays for the drinks. Easy $7,000. A week goes by, and I get called by the reservation manager that the lady has upped her booking to 50 guests now. Immediately, I'm thinking, oh crap, the space that she reserved for her celebration can hold maybe 40 people max, and she is bringing a few children as well. I get in touch with her again. I explain that we'll have to move her to our main restaurant area as the West Wing won't accommodate all her guests. I advise her that she can gladly choose our private venue, which is downstairs. It's mainly for conferences, but she'll have to pay an additional $7,000 for the venue hire. She opted for the restaurant. A side note, I mentioned the conference space as she wanted identical tables and chairs. Our restaurant has a mix of styles and I absolutely hate it, but anyway. I let her know that that'll be fine, and then I ask if she wants to keep her buffet option the same to finalize what is due to cater for the additional people attending. She lets me know that she wants it the same as her original option, and I must just let her know what else is outstanding so that she can pay it. I'm thinking, great, awesome client, will be a smooth evening as we are getting the finer details done 2 weeks prior. But would I be posting here if that were the case? I chat to our reservations manager, we reconcile all her POPs and get a final amount due. I call the entitled daughter back and let her know that about $8,000 is due. She is absolutely shocked and asked, but why so much? This is how the conversation went. I said, ma'am, you have only paid $5,000 so far, excluding your drinks. The total amount for the food is $13,250. But I've already paid so much money. Why am I being charged so much for the food? Well, you'll be having 50 guests, and the buffet option that you've chosen is $265 per person. That comes out to $13,250. With you already having paid $5,000, this leaves $8,250 due. No. Then something wasn't explained to me properly. When I spoke to your manager, she said that the buffet option that I chose, I only have to pay for 30 guests and then I can add people on if I want. I'm over here just trying to comprehend what this grown woman has just said to me. I go, ma'am, the buffet option that you chose can only be provided if your booking is 30 people minimum, and then every person that you add onto that is charged on top of that. No, OP, or original poster, this was not explained to me properly. I literally face-palmed myself. Our manager has been doing her job beautifully for the last 6+ years, so at this point, I was highly doubting that she explained it in the way that the entitled daughter was saying. But I give her the benefit of the doubt, rolling it out to simple miscommunication. We'll get it sorted, right? Insert Donald Trump, wrong meme here. She finally accepts that she has to pay the remaining balance, but gives me the silent treatment after that. Over the next 2 weeks, I text her about certain details that I just want to confirm, but she never responded. Then the event rolls around yesterday. Supervisor 1 and myself set the restaurant up neatly. We moved some other tables upstairs to our loft area so that our in-house guests can have a space for dinner without being bothered by the celebration in the main restaurant. Entitled daughter finally shows up at around 11 a.m. with her decorator to get the final touches done. She is very happy with the space, compliments our service, and keeps calling me sweetie. Ugh. And then we leave her and the decorating team to do their thing so that we can get the lunch and dinner setups done. I'm nearing an 8-hour shift by the time that I can finally sit down and just eat, having worked 12 days in a row now with multiple double shifts. And suffice to say, I'm a little cranky. Now, I do my own scheduling. See, I'm working a lot due to being understaffed in the restaurant, so I'm there a lot to help my staff. I took one bite of my food, and my office phone rings. I see that it's the front desk's extension. I answer. Receptionist 1 says, "Hi, OP. The daughter Karen wants to speak to you." Me, trying not to cry, says, "Okay, I'll be there now." I put my pizza slice down, take a sip of my Red Bull, and trot off to reception. I spot the entitled daughter Karen standing at reception, looking absolutely defeated. I put on my best customer service smile and speak in a sickly sweet voice. "Hi, ma'am, is everything all right?" No, it's not. I am just being told now that I cannot bring my DJ." I just stand there. I'm just dumbfounded. Why was I not told before that I cannot bring a DJ? I've already paid for him, and I don't think I'll get my money back as he's already on his way here. Ma'am, you never mentioned that you were bringing a DJ. No, I did. When I did the walk around with the manager, I mentioned that I was going to bring a DJ, and she said that it was fine. I've wasted more money now. I give a quick glance toward the front office manager, a silent plea. And now the front office manager is being so rude to me, making me feel like that I am stupid, telling me that it's a public area and obviously a DJ would be a problem. I just look at her, just nodding. What am I going to do now? I guide her away from reception, explaining that, well, because this is a hotel, we cannot accommodate a DJ in the restaurant, as we have guests that would be disturbed by the music. We have to take our other guest into consideration. She sighs, puts her hand in front of her mouth, and just says, "Is there any way we can get the DJ here?" I tell her that the best that I can do is create a playlist for her on our sound system in the restaurant. She accepts this begrudgingly and wanders off to her decorating team. I shoot a look over to the front office manager again, and I just see her smirking. I love that woman's no-nonsense attitude. I disappear to my office again. My pizza is cold by now, and I just frown. I plop down on my chair and just shuffle the pizza into my mouth, trying to also get as much work done as possible before the start of the event at 4 p.m. so that I can be present on the floor. 4 p.m. rolls around, and I am just exhausted. Having worked 10 hours already, I just need to stay around for an hour to make sure that everything is fine. Then I can slip away. Psych! We set out 58 plates for 50 guests and 8 children, as was confirmed, and we let the party begin. They are loud. Oh my goodness. Supervisor 1, Supervisor 2, and myself have to constantly ask for the music to be put down softer, for them to not scream that we have guests in the loft area. But this falls on deaf ears. Supervisor 2 eventually said that if they continue to be too loud, we will have to ask them to leave. This finally kicks in. They tone it down. I make sure that my staff are okay, that all the areas are covered, and have a quick chat with a few guests, and then I head off for the night. I have accommodation in the hotel, as I was placed here on a temporary contract to fix the food and the beverage department, to then later be transferred to a hotel in the same group in my city about 4 hours away. I try to relax as much as possible, but knowing I have a proper Karen on my hands, I only stayed away for about an hour. I got dressed in casual clothes and headed back to the restaurant. What I saw nearly gave me a heart attack. Well, that and the 3 Red Bulls that I already had at this point. There were easily 60 people flocked in the restaurant, not the 50 that were paid for. I walk into the kitchen, and the chefs are visibly panicking. They can't keep up with the amount of food that's being needed to replenish the buffet station. Executive chef yells out, "OP, there are more than 70 people. What is going on?" And now the update about Karen's mom, Karen herself, and their crazy friend. I honestly didn't expect this to gain much traction, but who here doesn't love some classic drama? Okay, so after the executive chef was practically pooping her pants, I went to the front office manager's office with a look that screamed emergency. I told her that there are way too many people here. She calmed me down because, well, I too can be a drama queen, and grabbed 2 cigarettes for us to quickly go smoke. Once we were back inside, we went upstairs to the loft area that overlooks the restaurant. We did a walkabout and did a head count each. She counted 72, I counted 74, but I was absolutely exhausted, so I could have been wrong. She counted again, 72. At that point, front office manager was so tired of this woman and her antics, calling her a chance taker, that she just burst out laughing. Front office manager and I went to her office, and on our way, we looked for the Karen daughter so I could discuss the extra attendees. I couldn't find her at all. It was a themed event, and every single person wore white. A sea of frickin' snow, almost. I shoot her a text explaining that we have done a head count, and now the additional buffets need to be rung up on her docket, and she needs to pay the balance so that we can settle it on the point of sale. I finally spotted her through the tinted window between the office and reception, phone ever so gracefully lighting up her face. She squinted, stared at her phone some more, and whispered to the person next to her, and then called Supervisor 2 over to her. Oh boy, here we go. I chat some more with front office manager, and Supervisor 2 walks in, almost laughing. OP, Karen is asking for you. I grin at the front office manager, and she just wishes me luck. I walk over to our lounge area next to reception, where Karen is sitting with 3 other ladies, one of which was wearing a big puffy white dress similar to a wedding dress. Aha, you must be the guest of honor. Karen says, OP, I'm stressing about this bill now. I was having such a great night, and now I feel it is just spoiled. I look at her holding the check, a nice, fat 24,000 something bucks in bold. I snicker internally to myself. This check was her drinks and all the buffets. Ma'am, you informed us that you would be attending with 50 guests. We have to charge you for the food that your guests have eaten. Thank goodness we always do keep a fair amount of food in the fridge, as just in case of an emergency, because we can just suddenly have a party of 20 people wanting to have lunch on a last-minute walk-in. But OP, the point of a buffet is that it's all you can eat. The food ran out so quickly. Ma'am, with all due respect, it would run out quicker than expected due to having to cater for over 70 people instead of 50. We catered for 50 people, having at least 2.5 portions each. That's an extra 50 odd portions that were unexpectedly needed. This is where the entitled Mother Karen finally steps up. She says in her big old poofy dress, looking down at me, "This is not right. My daughter has paid a lot of money, and still she is treated poorly. Your service staff are disgustingly rude. That lady, the front office manager, is so rude, and it is just shocking." "Yes, OP," the daughter says, "I don't have this kind of money, and with all my money being wasted on the DJ that I couldn't get here, I'll only be able to pay on the 31st, which is 4 days after her event." My eyes widen a little at the sudden hostility, as I felt that I've been very respectful and have been trying to resolve this amicably. I reply, "Unfortunately, you will have to settle the balance before you leave the premises, whether that be when you check out tomorrow or leave tonight. We cannot allow you off of the property without paying." The entitled Mother Karen huffs and puffs and says something to her daughter in a language that I don't understand. It's a very common language spoken here, but I'm part of the minority that doesn't speak it. I speak to the front office manager and supervisor too that she needs to sign her bill before she leaves the restaurant. I am just mentally drained, and I peace out for the night. The next morning, a new day full of opportunities to resolve the bitterness from last night, a new day full of promising drama. I am up early, I get dressed, and I head for the restaurant. It is super quiet, and I make myself the most god-awful cappuccino that I've ever made in my life. I get to work, chat with the executive chef, and, being typical women, we gossip about the previous night. And always remember, speak of the devil, and you shall step on his tail. My office phone rings. It's reception. I giggle as I answer, eager for some drama. But alas, I was not blessed. The security at the main gate gives each guest a slip with a gate code for when they leave. When a guest loses their slip, a senior manager has to escort the guest to the main gate, confirm that the guest has stayed at the hotel, sign their new slip, and off everyone goes. I am lazy as heck. I refuse to walk the 500 meters or 600 meters way to the main gate, so I go to my hotel room, get my car keys, and drive to the main gate. Oh lordy, do I start drooling. It's the wine red colored Mustang GT the front office manager and I have been eyeing every time we went to smoke. Just pure chef's kiss perfection. Security lets them out, I wish them a pleasant trip, and drive back to the hotel. I forgot my cigarettes in my hotel room that morning, so I informed the executive chef that I'm taking my keys back to my room, grabbing my smokes, and then I want to go frickin' smoke. It's nearly 10 a.m. and I need nicotine. On my way to my room, I pass reception. Oh no, there is the daughter Karen, mother Karen, and entitled friend. Entitled friend spots me, a little white lady that's been so accommodating to our every insufferable need, and snaps her fingers at me, beckoning me over like a mutt. I stick on a smile, just desperate to go smoke, rather wanting to put a fire out with my face than talk to this piece of work. She screams at me, "You need to do something about front office manager. She is the rudest person that I have ever dealt with. You need to speak to her, teach her how to treat guests." I calmly raise my hands, asking her to please keep her voice down and to please explain what happened. She practically spits out a repetition of what she just said. I ask to be excused and I slip into the front office manager's office. She is just smirking. This is what front office manager told me happened when I was letting the guest out at the main gate. Receptionist too was helping them finalize payments so that they can check out and just leave to be Death Eaters elsewhere. Front office manager hears a slight commotion start up and goes to the front desk to ask if she can be of assistance. Entitled mother Karen, daughter Karen, and entitled friend just unleash at her, saying that she must not even speak to them, that she is rude, and entitled friend even dared her to come around to this side of the desk, while she's recording front office manager and threatening to post our terrible hotel on Twitter. Front office manager ignored everything after that and stepped back into her office. We contacted the director of operations for our group and explained the whole story. I actually heard him laugh through the earpiece. Front office manager grabs operations director's business card, hands it to me, and asks me to give it to them, to email him directly about all of their concerns. When I stepped out to hand it to them, explaining that we have spoken to the operations director, with a slight smile on my face, entitled friend looks defeated at this point. Taking the card, she sets it down on the counter and just walks away. In the beginning, they tried to pay less for more people, got caught, and then still brought more people thereafter. Then it turned to excuses like, "Oh no, I can't pay," to a flurry of verbal abuse to scare us into dropping the extra charges. After they paid and left, we burst out laughing, wishing, oh so badly, wishing that the hospitality purge thingy could be real. That we get one time a year that we can pepper spray a guest. And we made some killer money last night, thanks to entitled mother Karen and daughter Karen finally coughing up what they owed us. Psycho Karen demands my house and sues me. Jail time for her with updates. Click the video on your screen. You don't want to miss this insane story, and I'll see you there.